Picture this. You stand under the cold glow of a single lantern, its yellow light dancing along narrow, damp cobblestones. The alley ahead is quiet, but your heart is not. It thumps softly, in time with the flicker of lamps through curtained windows. In the distance, the muted murmur of laughter, footsteps, and distant voices drifts across brick walls that have borne witness to centuries of secret lives. This is De Wallen, Amsterdam's medieval red light quarter, long before concerten had modern signs, but absolutely alive with human longing, breath, and desire. You lean a little closer, letting the shadows cradle your breath. The air smells of wood smoke, rain on stone, and something more subtle, the faint sweetness of perfumed oils, candle wax, and the coppery temps of coins traded in hushed tones. There is a promise hidden here. In the slit windows, behind the thick velvet curtains, women wait, not simply for work, but for connections. Their world hums with soft seduction. You shift your cloak and step forward, boots echoing softly in the alley. A door swings open, and a woman's silhouette emerges framed in light, hips swaying, shoulders curved, a whisper of silk or satin wrapping around her body. She tilts her head slightly, watching you approach. Her eyes glint in the lantern's glow, and for a moment, the street seems to slow, as if the very air is holding its breath. This is not desperation. It is not pity. It is a delicate, lived desirability. She knows her power, not raw, not vulgar, but honed, quiet, and ancient. Before we go further into this world, let me quietly welcome you to Whispers of History, a place where time softens and secrets unfold. Where are you listening from tonight? Is it late where you are? Do the shadows of your room feel different when you imagine the past? And if you find comfort, fascination, or gentle intrigue here, feel free to subscribe softly, always softly, so our footsteps across history can echo again in the dark. Now, back to the alley. As you approach, the woman opens the door just a little wider. Behind her, the room glows softly, candles on wooden sills, thick rugs on the floor, a heavy scent of oil lamps mingled with rosewater. She gestures for you to come in. Her voice, when she speaks, is softer than the rain outside, but its edges are sharp with intention. Inside, you see more than just a room. It is a sanctuary of hidden pleasures. A low bed draped in crimson fabric, sheer curtains gently trembling in a quiet draught, and a small table strewn with delicate objects, perfume bottles, coins, a velvet pouch, a candle, whose wax is already melting down its side. You feel her presence near you now, before you actually touch her. You hear her breathe, almost in time with your own breath, and your pulse quickens. She lifts a finger, running it along the edge of the table, then turns to face you. Her silk robe drops just enough at the shoulders to expose smooth skin. She leans so the candlelight brushes her collarbone, outlining the soft plane of her neck. The air is heavy, intimate, and charged. She steps forward, closing the door behind you. The click of the latch is soft but final. Her hand lifts to rest against the small of your back, not demanding, but welcoming. Your breath deepens, and you feel the heat of her palm through the thin fabric of your clothes. The room is suddenly smaller, warmer, the glowing wax casting long shadows across her face. She doesn't seduce you with words, though her voice is low and gentle when she finally speaks. Instead, she lets you feel the weight of possibility in a single breath, in one look, in the small tilt of her body. Her eyes are steady, unashamed, and mysterious. She withdraws her hand slowly, as though testing whether you are brave enough to follow. In a moment of quiet, she lifts a small vial of jasmine oil from the table. The scent is heady, sweet, intoxicating, and she offers it to you. You close your eyes and inhale, letting it wrap around you like a promise. She leans close, and for a heartbeat, your lips almost brush her ear. She murmurs something soft, a welcome, a name, a promise. You can't tell which, and the sound feels like velvet against your skin. She raises her hand, trailing it along your shoulder, letting the oil leave a light sheen. Your chest tightens, your skin tingles. She smiles, just barely, then guides your hand to the folds of her robe. Her fabric is fine, a whisper under your fingers. Your pulse is louder than the flickering flame. She steps back, letting the robe slide. It falls with fluid grace, pooling at her feet. The candlelight makes her skin glow, warm, pale, soft. You reach out, just once, your fingers brushing her arm, the tension electric. Her breath catches. Your heart races. You don't speak. Words feel unnecessary here. She takes your hand and presses it gently against her throat, then moves it slowly down, letting you feel the warmth there. The hollow of her pulse, the softness of her flesh, just through the fabric. Your palm rests against her chest for the moment that feels like it lasts forever. The closeness, the luxury, the unspoken invitation, it is all there. Intimate, sacred, dangerous. You both glide to the bed. The sheets rustle, silk whispering against skin. Candlelight shivers on her cheek as she turns to face you, her hair falling in soft shadows across her shoulders. The air thrums with unspoken promise, with desire weighed by history and lived pain. But tonight, it is simply desire. She leans forward, pressing her forehead to yours. Lips brushing, breathing mingling. A kiss that is gentle but undeniably charged. You lean into her warmth. Her hand trails along your jaw. She pulls you close, just a fraction, so her body presses against yours. The scent of jasmine, wax, skin intoxicating. Her voice in your ear is a sigh, soft and deep. Stay. In that moment, you feel the world narrow. There is only her, you, candlelight, breath, and the secret that brought you both here. Outside, the narrow street remains silent, the shadows waiting. But in this room, behind the curtained window of the medieval red light alley, you have stepped into another world, a world of longing, seduction, and the tender power of someone who claims their desire as both work and art. And as she guides you gently toward the bed, your body alight with anticipation, you realize, this is not simply a transaction. This is ritual, this is power. This is red light life, delicate, dangerous, beautiful, and it has always lived behind these windows. You stay there with her for a lingering moment, your breath and hers mixing in the warm pocket of candlelit air between you. Her forehead rests barely against yours, as if she's reading something in the rhythm of your breath alone. Outside, a distant church bell tolls, muffled by wet stone, mingling with the softer, more private noises floating through the alley. Laughter, footsteps, a door creaking open, a low hum of conversation drifting from inside some unseen room. But here, in this small chamber, everything feels suspended. She draws back just enough for you to truly see her. The line of her jaw illuminated by flame, the shadows settling in the hollow of her throat, the faint sheen of jasmine oil glistening along her collarbone. Her skin seems to glow. She reaches out, brushing a loose strand of your hair with the back of her knuckles. The touch is slow, intentional, lingering long enough to warm your cheek. It's not possession, it's not transaction, it's ritual, performed by someone who knows exactly how to shape desire with gentleness. She turns toward the small wooden basin in the corner, where a folded cloth rests beside a porcelain bowl. She dips the cloth into warm water, scented faintly with herbs, lavender, mint, and something faintly floral, then lifts it, squeezing it gently between her fingers. Droplets fall, hissing softly when they hit the candle. She returns to you, lifting the cloth slowly, almost ceremonially. As she raises her hand, you notice the subtle tremor of her breath. Not fear, anticipation. She presses the warm cloth to your jawline, sliding it upward in a tender arc. The heat spreads across your skin, and you close your eyes without meaning to. Her other hand rests lightly at your waist, guiding your breathing with the soft pressure of her fingertips. You feel the heat of her body through the thin layers between you. There's a steadiness in her touch, an intimacy carved out of repetition and choice, a softness she reserves only for those whose presence she accepts. As she moves the cloth down your neck, her breath drifts across your skin, warm enough to make the edges of your clothing suddenly feel too heavy. For a fleeting second, her lips nearly graze your throat. Not a kiss, just the barest suggestion of one, and your pulse leaps beneath her mouth. She pauses there, sensing the shift, her eyes lifting to meet yours. The corner of her lips curves slightly, the faintest smile of someone who understands desire better than most priests understand scripture. She takes your wrist gently, guiding your hand to her waist. You feel the heat of her now, through fabric pulled tight across curves shaped by long nights and countless stories. Here, she whispers, not as instruction, but as invitation. This is where the evening truly begins. But before she pulls you closer, She moves toward the small window. With a graceful sweep of her fingertips, she closes the shutters fully, then lowers the heavy velvet curtain. The room darkens, but not completely. The candles cast a low, amber haze, making the space feel both private and infinite. You hear the muffled noises of the alley fade to a distant hum. The world outside dissolves, leaving only the flicker of flame, the subtle rustle of fabric, the soft rhythm of two bodies learning one another. She steps back to you, her movements a slow dance. Her fingers trail lightly down your arm, stopping at your wrist. She lifts your hand only slightly and guides it toward the curve of her hip. Her robe doesn't fall this time. She keeps it loosely wrapped, letting the fabric cling to her shape, revealing just enough through the thin silk to stir warmth deep in your chest. You feel her body respond subtly, leaning into your touch with a practiced grace that is still somehow tender, private, and human. And then she shows you something few outsiders ever witness in the medieval red light world. She steps toward the candle, letting the flame illuminate her from behind. Her silhouette glows through the thin silk, the gentle arch of her back, the soft slope of her waist, the outline of her shoulders as she lifts her hair off her neck. Not explicit, not crude, just a shadow, a warm and living outline that draws your breath deeper into your lungs. She lets her hair fall again, cascading like a dark curtain down her back. The shadow shifts, trembles, becomes more intimate by suggestion alone. This, the art of silhouette, was one of the oldest seduction rituals in the medieval pleasure quarters. Women learned to move in slow, fluid gestures, letting candlelight shape their bodies in ways that stirred imagination without revealing too much. You watch now as she turns slightly, letting her hips shift, letting the silk cling, letting the shadows stretch and narrow. Every motion is deliberate, controlled, delicate. This is sensory history, a ritual passed through generations of women who survived by turning shadows into longing. She approaches you again, slower this time. When she reaches you, she presses both palms to your chest, flat, warm, steady, and exhales. The closeness is electric. Your breath snags, but hers flows easily, confident. She looks up, her lips parted just enough to draw you forward without saying a word. And then, with a single fingertip, she traces the line of your throat down to the center of your chest. But she stops there, letting the weight of anticipation settle between you. Her lips hover near your ear, close enough for you to feel the brush of breath when she whispers, "Let me show you how we lived, how we seduced, how we survived." You can feel her warmth against you, her thigh brushing your knee, her hand finding the back of your neck, her breath warming your cheek. She moves toward the bed again, drawing you with her. The linens shift beneath her touch. The mattress dips slightly as she sits, pulling you just close enough to feel the heat radiating through the space between your bodies. Outside, another door opens. A woman laughs softly in the alley. Coins clink. A man whispers a bargain. But here, inside this private world behind the window, it is only you, her, and the slow swell of medieval night deepening around you. She tilts her head, inviting you closer without saying a word. And as you lean into her warmth, the story of Amsterdam's secret nights begins to unfold, not in history books, but in breath, touch, and the sensual language shared between two bodies in the glow of flame. The candlelight flickers across her skin, tracing every subtle curve, every shadowed hollow, until the air itself seems charged, almost tangible. You let your hand rest against her waist, feeling warmth radiate through the thin silk. She leans back slightly, letting the light slide over her chest, the gentle rise and fall of her breath, hypnotic. Your own pulse is deafening in the quiet. Outside, the narrow alley hums faintly with life, but here it is stripped away. You are suspended in a private history that has been performed behind closed doors for centuries. Her hand lifts, trailing delicately along the side of your face. Her touch is a memory made real, soft, insistent, intimate. She tilts her head, her lips hovering just above yours. You catch the faint scent of rosewater mingled with jasmine, a fragrance that seems to belong to this world alone. There is no rush. Every movement is deliberate. A slow unveiling that feels as though it has been practiced through countless nights of anticipation and subtle control. She guides your hands gently, letting you explore the fabric that clings to her body, teasing the boundary between restraint and revelation. You feel the subtle strength beneath the silk, the muscle beneath the softness, the living artistry of someone who has learned how to entice without surrendering all. Her eyes hold yours, unwavering, daring you to match her patience with your own attention, your own curiosity. She shifts, rising slightly to the tips of her toes. The candlelight plays along the hollow of her collarbone and the curve of her neck. She brushes a finger along your chest, down past the silk of your tunic, over the heat of your skin. The gesture is fleeting, delicate, but it leaves a trail that burns hotter than the flame. She smiles, just barely, a secretive, knowing smile that seems to belong to centuries of women who understood that power lies in suggestion, not demand. "Feel it," she whispers, her voice almost a vibration in the quiet. "This is how we lived, how we claimed moments from the night." You follow her lead, letting your hands trace the soft arcs of her body through the silk, feeling the warmth and weight of what lies beneath. She responds in kind, moving just enough to guide you, to invite your attention, to test your focus. Every touch is a story, every brush a history written in fleeting contact. The silk slides with your fingers, almost liquid, warm as the human form it covers. She guides you to the small rug near the bed, kneeling gracefully so that her body is just slightly lower than yours. The candlelight catches the curve of her back, her long hair falling in shadows along her spine. She leans forward, pressing her hands lightly to your shoulders. The contact is electric but measured, as if every movement is a calculated lesson in the art of seduction. She whispers, again, almost conspiratorially, "Here, the world disappears. Only desire and presence remain." Her lips brush your hand, a soft, fleeting caress. Your fingers rest against her wrist, tracing the veins beneath her pale skin. She guides your hands upward, letting you feel the gentle rise and fall of her chest, the soft heat, the unspoken rhythm she shares with each client, each visitor, each willing witness to her craft. Outside, the world moves on. Bells toll, coins clink, voices murmur, but inside time bends. Finally, she lies back against the low pillows, inviting you beside her. The silk shifts, falls, and settles like water across her body. You feel the warmth of the mattress, the faint scent of oil lamps and rosewater clinging to her skin. She watches you with the same patience she has held throughout, letting anticipation build, letting the moment stretch into something sacred, intimate, a ritual passed down through centuries of women who thrived in these hidden quarters. Your hand rests against her side, her fingers brushing the back of your hand. She whispers a name, yours, hers. Perhaps both, and the syllables seem to echo in the space between you, between history and the present. You lean closer, drawn not just to flesh, but to the story held in every measured movement, every breath, every soft sigh. The night outside continues, indifferent to the moments unfolding within the walls of this chamber. Here, in D. Wallen, the medieval red light quarter is alive in ways history rarely records, in glances, touches, sighs, and ritualized intimacy. And tonight, you are a witness, a participant, a traveler across time, cradled in the warmth of a living, breathing history. She rolls slightly, guiding you with gentle pressure, letting your body feel the subtle contours of hers. Candlelight shivers across the room, revealing the quiet details that make this place intimate. A silver comb on the table, a folded strip of velvet, tiny crystal bottles of oil and perfume. She lets her hand drift across your chest, lingering at your collarbone, then down to the curve of your waist. Each touch is a lesson in the history of seduction, measured, patient, deliberate. You notice how she moves, a slow arc of shoulder, a tilt of her hips, the careful placement of hands and fingers. Nothing is hurried. Every motion is designed to draw attention, to spark curiosity, to awaken the senses. She is a historian and an artist, performing a ritual that has been perfected over centuries. You feel the weight of that history in the warmth of her hand against yours, the slight shiver as her hair brushes your cheek, the pulse of anticipation in the room. She leans back slightly, letting the silk shift over her body. You feel her breath on your neck, the faint scent of jasmine and candle wax wrapping around you. She presses her hand to your chest, guiding your heartbeat to slow and then rise again with hers. Outside, the narrow streets hum faintly. But here, behind the velvet curtains and flickering flame, the world contracts into a single, suspended moment. Her eyes meet yours, steady, knowing. She traces a line along your jaw, over your throat, with the same careful grace she has used with countless visitors. But tonight, it is not repetition, it is intimacy. She leans close, and the warmth of her chest against yours is enough to make the silk between you feel heavy, almost burdensome. She pulls back only slightly, letting you breathe, letting the air thrum with tension and anticipation. A soft laugh escapes her lips, almost imperceptible, teasing. A sound that belongs both to this night and to centuries of women who turned desire into survival. She reaches for the small oil bottle again, dipping a fingertip and letting the scent of jasmine fill the space between you. She guides your hand to her side, letting you feel warmth and texture. The living evidence of a human body honed by experience, by art, by history. She shifts closer again, her body arching just enough so that your fingers brush her side, tracing the line from hip to waist to rib. The silk is soft, warm, pliant beneath your touch. Candlelight dances along her cheekbones, along the curve of her neck, the hollow of her throat. You feel every heartbeat, every inhalation, every subtle gesture that transforms desire into ritual, into art. Then she tilts her head, pressing her lips near your ear. Her voice is a whisper, a command softened by intimacy. Feel how we made the night ours, how every touch, every breath, every glance was survival, pleasure, and power all at once. She shifts again, letting the silk slide just enough to reveal a glimpse of skin at her shoulder. The movement is deliberate, a centuries-old choreography of temptation, patience, and surrender. You lean into her warmth, feeling the rhythm of her body, the deliberate pace of her movements. Candlelight flickers across the room, creating shadows that seem to dance along her form. Outside, the alley is quiet, save for distant murmurs. Inside, the world narrows until it consists only of two bodies, two breaths, the faint scent of jasmine and oil, and the timeless ritual of seduction in the medieval red light quarter. Her hand drifts along your arm, gentle, commanding, intimate. She presses a soft kiss to your shoulder, a touch that lingers longer than expected, leaving warmth in its wake. You feel the quiet intensity of the moment, the slow burn of anticipation, the intimacy that is both shared and sacred. And as she shifts closer once more, guiding your hands, your eyes, your breath, you realize history is alive here. It moves with her, flows through her touch, and now, through yours. The night is far from over, and yet it feels infinite. The alley outside will wait. Here, in this candlelit chamber, the ritual continues, delicate, deliberate, sensual, and unmistakably alive. The room is quiet now, except for the gentle hiss of the candle flame and the subtle rustle of silk against skin. You lie beside her, or perhaps she beside you. The distinction has blurred in the slow, deliberate rhythm of the night. Her hand traces a line down your arm, from shoulder to wrist, guiding you with a lightness that feels like air, yet carries centuries of knowledge. You realize that every movement here is choreographed by experience. The way she leans, shifts, breathes, and touches is honed, ritualized, almost sacred. She presses her body closer, warmth radiating in measured waves. Her hair falls across your chest, soft as smoke, and the scent of jasmine clings to both of you, mingling with the faint smokiness of the lamp. She tilts her head so her lips hover near your temple, exhaling softly. It is neither question nor demand, only presence, an invitation to witness, to participate, to exist fully in this suspended night. Outside, the sounds of the medieval quarter are muted. Footsteps echo off distant stones. The low chatter of men exchanging coins drifts like distant wind. A dog barks, perhaps at the wrong shadow. But inside, the room contracts around you, closing the world away. Here, time is measured in heartbeats, in breaths, in the soft friction of silk against warm skin. Every gesture, every whisper, every subtle movement tells a story older than the buildings themselves. Her hands slide along your sides, fingertips grazing just enough to stir a shiver but never force it. She watches your reactions with a patience that feels almost religious. the kind of focus only those who have perfected the art of seduction over years of practice can sustain. You feel honored and vulnerable simultaneously, aware that what she offers is both history and intimacy, performance and real human warmth. She shifts again, kneeling beside you, letting the candlelight catch her profile. The curve of her shoulder, the slope of her back, the delicate hollow at the base of her throat, all seem designed to draw your attention, to pull your senses into a private, suspended reality. You follow her movements, fingertips tracing the faint sheen of oil on her skin, the contours of muscle beneath, learning the language of centuries-old ritual in every soft curve. "Do you see?" she whispers, lips near your ear. "This is how we thrived. This is how we turned desire into art, into survival." You nod, though words feel unnecessary. The candlelight flickers across her face, revealing a faint, secret smile. Her eyes hold yours, unflinching, knowing. She guides your hands again, showing you how to explore without taking, how to give attention without demanding. Every gesture becomes a lesson, a story, a bridge between centuries. She leans close, and the heat of her body presses into yours. Her hair sweeps across your chest like velvet smoke, her breath warm against your collarbone. She traces your jawline lightly, just the fingertips, testing, teasing, letting the touch linger long enough to ignite awareness without overwhelming it. It is a delicate dance, one you begin to feel more than understand, the rhythm of seduction that has been whispered from one generation of women to the next into wall-and-shadowed streets. The silk shifts beneath her, sliding along her curves, hinting at what lies beneath without giving it fully. You feel her hand on your shoulder, guiding you closer, closer still, until the spaces between bodies and breath collapse entirely. She lets her lips brush yours again, gentle, teasing, a soft punctuation to the slow sentences of movement, scent, and warmth. You taste the faint sweetness of oil and rosewater, the heat of her skin, the history embedded in her presence. She guides your hands along her form once more, letting your fingers trace the line of her spine, the softness of her waist, the subtle power beneath the surface. Her own hands wander in response, delicate yet assured, shaping the moment as she has shaped countless nights before. Outside, the alley remains a shadowed hum. Inside, the room is alive with unspoken ritual, sensuality, and the quiet command of one who knows her power and claims it fully. For a long moment, you simply exist there together, bodies close, hands exploring, breaths mingling, eyes locked. There is no need for words. The world outside is irrelevant. Every heartbeat, every sigh, every faint rustle of silk writes a history that will never be recorded in books, but will live forever in memory. Finally, she leans back, letting her fingers linger against your chest. She smiles softly, almost imperceptibly, and murmurs, "History is not only what is written. Sometimes it is what we live, here, in the quiet, in the dark, in the night that no one else can touch." And as she settles beside you, the candle casting its amber glow across her skin, you understand, this night, these moments, these delicate gestures, are history itself. A history of desire, survival, and art, performed behind velvet curtains in the medieval red light quarter of Amsterdam. The night stretches, folding itself around you like the heavy velvet curtains at the window. Her body is close, warm, and deliberate in its movements, teaching you through touch and breath rather than words. The faint smell of jasmine and rosewater lingers in the air, mingling with the subtle smoke of the candle. You feel as though the room itself has become alive, the walls breathing softly, holding centuries of secrets in their brick and timber. Listening to the rhythm of desire unfolding within, she shifts slightly, letting her hand glide along your chest, down your side, a gentle command for your attention. The silk clings to her curves, moving like liquid under your fingertips, teasing without fully revealing. Every gesture is measured, deliberate, a lesson in seduction that transcends time. You sense the lineage of women before her who perfected this art, how to make a fleeting glance, a gentle touch, or a whispered word hold centuries of meaning. "Do you feel it?" she whispers, her lips near your ear. This is how we held power. In shadows, in whispers, in the quiet surrender of the night. You nod, overwhelmed yet captivated. Her fingers trace the line of your jaw, pause at the hollow of your throat, and glide down over the warmth of your chest. She does not hurry. Every motion is slow, rhythmic, like a dance that has been practiced in secret rooms for generations. Her breath brushes against your skin, teasing, warming, inviting. You feel the tension build, the awareness of her presence sharpening every nerve. She guides your hands again, letting you explore her form through the silt. Your fingers brush against the curve of her waist, the soft swell of her hip, the gentle slope of her back. Her body responds in quiet, measured ways, a slight lean, a subtle arch, each movement designed to draw you in, to make the anticipation unbearable and exquisite. Outside, the streets hum faintly with distant voices and the occasional clatter of a carriage. But here, time has slowed to a private pulse. Her lips find your shoulder, brushing softly, leaving a warmth that lingers long after the touch. Her hands trace circles along your arms, down your sides, and back up again. A delicate rhythm that mirrors the candle's flicker. Every gesture, every glance, every soft sigh is a lesson in intimacy, a performance perfected by women who turned necessity into art, survival into allure. She rises slightly, letting her silhouette catch the candlelight from behind. The silk clings to her curves, shadowed and revealed in equal measure, outlining the strength beneath her softness. She lets her hair tumble forward, brushing your cheek, teasing your senses, drawing you into the spell of her presence. Your hand follows the line of her back, feeling the subtle muscles beneath the delicate skin. The warmth that speaks of countless nights like this, of ritual and power intertwined. A soft laugh escapes her lips, almost imperceptible, carrying centuries of knowing. She leans closer, lips brushing your ear. Every night was like this, she murmurs. Every glance, every gesture, every touch was a story we wrote for ourselves, and for those who watched, learned, or followed. She guides you to kneel beside her on the low bed. The silk shifts as she moves, revealing glimpses of her skin, but never fully, never crudely, always with grace, with intention. She presses her hand to your chest again, steadying you, guiding you through the rhythm of the moment. Your fingertips trace along her arms, over the softness, the warmth, the subtle strength beneath. She responds with gentle movements, a soft sigh, a slight arch, a choreography that feels both ancient and immediate. You feel the heat of her breath on your collarbone, the warmth of her body pressed close, the soft pulse of her heartbeat beneath your hand. Outside, the faint murmur of the alley continues, but here it is irrelevant. Every second stretches, every touch lingers, every glance deepens the intimacy. She leans back, letting your hands explore with quiet guidance, teaching you patience, attention, and the subtle power of suggestion. Finally, she lies back fully, letting the silk fall where it may, letting the candlelight play across her form. Her fingers brush lightly against your hands, guiding them with a rhythm that feels both playful and sacred. She whispers your name softly, the sound like music, like history, like the echo of countless nights in Dwallen's hidden chambers. And as the room settles into a quiet, intimate pulse, you realize the truth. This is not merely pleasure. It is history lived, sensation as education, intimacy as art. The medieval red light quarter is not a place of vulgarity or desperation. It is a sanctuary of power, seduction, and survival. And tonight, you are both witness and participant, a traveler across centuries, carried along the currents of desire, ritual, and whispered secrets that will linger long after the candle has burned down to wax. The candlelight bathes the room in soft amber, illuminating the curve of her shoulder, the gentle arch of her back, the subtle sheen of jasmine-scented skin. You lie beside her, fingertips tracing patterns over silk and warmth, learning the rhythm she sets with every tilt of her head, every slight shift of her body. There is no hurry, no clamor, only the quiet pulse of centuries-old ritual, a choreography of touch, scent, and presence that has been perfected in these hidden chambers. She leans forward slightly, letting her hair brush your chest, a whisper of shadow and warmth. The scent of rosewater and jasmine mingles with the faint smokiness of the lamp, enveloping you in a world suspended outside of time. Her eyes meet yours, steady and unflinching, daring you to match her patience with equal attention, equal reverence for the delicate interplay of desire and control. Her hands drift along your arms, guiding your touch toward the subtle curves and hollows of her body. Every motion is a lesson. How to explore without taking, how to notice without rushing, how to transform intimacy into a shared ritual. The silk clings to her form like liquid, teasing your senses without revealing too much, maintaining the tension that has defined the red light quarters for generations. You feel it, don't you? She murmurs, her voice a soft vibration against your ear. The way nights like this were lived. The way we wielded touch and glance as our tools. Desire was not simple. It was an art, a survival, a power. Her hands slide to your chest, palms pressing gently, steadying your pulse, synchronizing your breath to hers. She leans closer, letting her forehead brush yours, her lips near your temple. The warmth of her body radiates into yours, a quiet insistence that demands your attention, your presence, your full surrender to the moment without losing yourself entirely. She guides your hands again, letting them glide along the silk-clad planes of her waist and hips. Each touch is met with subtle responses. A shift of her body, a soft sigh, a slight arch, a centuries-old dialogue written in sensation rather than words. Outside, the alley murmurs faintly, distant voices and footsteps dissolving in the amber glow that keeps the chamber private, intimate, sacred. She reclines slightly, letting your hands explore, teasingly withdrawing just enough to keep the anticipation alive. The candle flickers against her skin, casting shadows that dance along the curve of her neck, the hollow of her collarbone, the gentle slope of her chest. You feel the pull of centuries in every gesture. Women who perfected this ritual, who claimed their nights and their power with patience, elegance, and subtle dominance. Her fingers trace along your jaw, then down your neck, guiding your own hands in gentle arcs along her side. She leans close, lips brushing your ear, warm and intimate. Every motion, every touch. We learned to turn fleeting encounters into eternity. We taught the world our worth without uttering a single word. The silk falls softly where she allows it, revealing glimpses of her skin, but never fully, never crudely, always with intention, always with art. You feel the subtle pulse of her warmth, the soft rise and fall of her chest, the deliberate, measured rhythm of her breath. Your own movements mirror hers, tentative at first, then confident, guided by centuries of unspoken knowledge encoded in her posture, her touch, her breath. She tilts her head, inviting you closer. Her lips brush yours, soft at first, teasing, drawing your attention to the subtle heat and rhythm between you. She presses her forehead to yours again, breathing mingling, heartbeats sinking in the quiet amberlit chamber. Every sensation feels heightened, every brush of skin, every whisper of silk, every faint sigh laden with centuries of survival, seduction, and secret power. And as she lets your fingers trace the line of her back, the curve of her waist, the softness of her sides, you understand the gravity of this intimacy. It is not fleeting. It is history made flesh. It is ritual, art, and survival intertwined. Here, behind the velvet curtains of Amsterdam's medieval red light quarter, you are not merely a visitor. You are a participant in a living history of seduction, power, and careful mastery of desire. She shifts again, the silk sliding slightly, the candlelight revealing subtle shadows along her form. Her gaze meets yours, steady, knowing, unflinching. Outside, the world continues, indifferent. Inside, you feel the weight of centuries in every gentle gesture, every careful movement, every intimate breath. And in this quiet, suspended night, you realize the power of the women who lived, loved, and survived here, and the honor of witnessing and learning from their art. The room feels alive with the weight of the night. Candlelight flickers across her skin, illuminating the curve of her neck, the subtle slope of her shoulders, the gentle swell of her waist. You lie beside her, fingertips tracing patterns over silk and warmth, every movement deliberate, every breath a shared rhythm. The faint scent of jasmine and rosewater lingers, weaving itself into the amber-hued air, a perfume carried by centuries of secret nights like this one. She shifts closer, pressing against you with quiet intent, letting her hand guide yours along the contours of her form. Every touch is measured, every sigh intentional. You feel the art of generations in her movements. Women who learned to claim power with subtlety, to turn desire into ritual, and survival into something beautiful. Outside, the distant alley hums faintly with life, but inside, time contracts into a private eternity. Her lips brush your ear, soft, warm, teasing. "Do you understand now?" she murmurs. "This is how we lived. This is how desire became our history, our power, our sanctuary." She leans back slightly, letting the candlelight highlight the subtle shadows of her body, the silk sliding just enough to reveal glimpses of the living form beneath. Every curve, every line, every gentle motion is a lesson in intimacy and mastery. You follow her lead, hands exploring, tracing, learning the rhythms she sets. Her responses are subtle, a slight arch, a soft sigh, a tilt of the head, guiding you without words, teaching the delicate dance of attention, patience, and shared pleasure. Candlelight dances along the walls, casting flickering shadows that seem to move with the story of the night, of centuries of women who perfected this art in rooms like this. She presses close, the warmth of her body seeping into yours. Her breath brushes your collarbone, lips near your temple, and you feel the pulse of life, history, and desire intertwining. Her fingers trace along your chest, down your side, pausing at the hollow of your waist, teaching you how to follow without overtaking, how to witness without overwhelming. Every movement is deliberate, a careful choreography that transforms intimacy into a sacred ritual. Outside, the muffled noises of the red light alley continue, coins clinking, voices murmuring, footsteps echoing. But inside, the room exists in suspension. Here, there is only the weight of centuries, the language of touch, and the rhythm of breath shared between two bodies. She guides you, leads you, draws you into a private history written in movement, scent, and the warmth of human skin. She lets the silk fall completely now, revealing herself in full, but never crudely, always with grace, always with intention. Candlelight caresses her form, highlighting shadows that dance along her curves, the gentle slope of her shoulders, the delicate arch of her back. Her eyes meet yours, unwavering, intimate, confident. The world outside ceases to exist. Only this moment, this history, this ritual remains. Her lips find yours again, soft and insistent, a punctuation to the silent narrative unfolding between you. Hands glide over skin, tracing curves and hollows, learning the subtleties of her movements. Every sigh, every shift, every gentle brush of silk against warmth speaks of centuries of women who turned desire into art, who claimed their bodies, their nights, their power. You are witness and participant, learning the language of a hidden history that few have ever known. Finally, she lies back, letting you rest beside her, your bodies aligned in quiet intimacy. The candle flickers low, wax pooling softly at its base, casting long shadows across the room. She traces your hand, guiding your fingers over the contours of her form one last time, leaving you with the memory of warmth, scent, and subtle mastery. She whispers softly, almost a secret, "This is how history lives. In touch, in breath, in nights like this." We were never merely shadows. We were power, we were desire, we were alive. You lie together in the amber glow, the room heavy with unspoken stories, centuries of ritual, and the quiet power of women who claimed the night. Outside, the alley waits. The world continues. But here, in this intimate chamber, you have crossed time, witnessing the secret life of Amsterdam's medieval red light quarter. And as the candle flickers its last, you realize, this is history lived, history felt, and history remembered, sensual, sacred, and undeniably alive.